First speaker is Brian McGivern. Is Brian McGivern here? Who has no topic in particular that he wants to discuss. So come on up. You have 3 minutes.
Mayor, I have a topic. It just wasn't announced. My name is Brian McGivern, and I'm an attorney with the Texas Civil Rights Project. I'm here because earlier today, a little more than an hour ago, a group of individuals and community organizations filed a complaint with the Neighborhood Housing and Community Development Office of the City of Austin. It's a complaint regarding the City of Austin's fair housing policies, and it's a complaint which that office will be required to answer under federal regulation. It begins by saying, for decades, the City of Austin has fallen short of its legal duty to reverse patterns of segregation that were established during its origins as a segregated southern city. Now, why should you care? Well, one of the consequences of this is that it concentrates poverty. When you concentrate poverty, you help perpetuate poverty, which hurts the entire city. It also puts in jeopardy tens of millions of dollars of federal funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. It involves two tokens. One's the affirmative act to try to break down segregation. And frankly, in the last 50 years, the city has never made more than token efforts to try to increase affordable housing in high opportunity areas. Housing that's affordable to low-income families in the city, about 1 out of 3. Perhaps more critically, the city is currently championing policies which actually are destroying some of the fair housing opportunities in this city. Take East Riverside. The city may as well be evicting the residents of East Riverside itself. Because when it targeted that area for economic development but failed to make any provision whatsoever for maintaining affordable housing in that area, it made displacement an inevitability. So as I said, we filed quite a lengthy complaint with that city office. Federal regulations will require a response within 15 business days. You know, I look forward to that response, and in a way I hope that the response will prove us wrong. But I doubt that it will. And frankly, I'm afraid that they're not going to have much of anything to say. Thank you.
Ms. City Attorney, this fellow has not cited anything in particular as the subject of his talk with us today, but I'd like to ask him a question. Under what circumstances can I do that?
Thank you. Yes, Council Member Spellman, we're not posted, so we can't have a discussion, but you are allowed to, under the rules, to ask him a factual question, and he can give you back a factual response.
I understand that we can't discuss. I'm happy to question. Mr. McGivern, what are you asking from the city that we do in response to the complaint?
Well, there are a number of possibilities. In fact, the complaint includes 11 suggestions that are hardly novel from the city for quite some time, but some examples would include, for instance, the city's fair housing ordinance. There are dozens of places across the country that include source of income as a prohibited status for discrimination. That makes sense because Section 8 vouchers are supposed to provide an opportunity for low-income families to live in high-opportunity, more expensive areas. In the City of Austin, it's well documented by empirical research, which is cited in the complaint, that the overwhelming majority of Section 8 users cannot live in high-opportunity areas because the apartment complexes west of I-35 will not accept tenants who pay their rent with them. It'd be very easy, and it wouldn't cost the city a dime to amend the Fair Housing Ordinance, just as dozens of other places around the country have done. Another example would be the increased ability to create homestead preservation districts in the city. I know that the council received a report about this a few weeks ago, discussing the new areas that are eligible under that new statute. That's something that should be done as quickly as is reasonably possible. And as I said, there are 11 different suggestions in that complaint.
Would it be possible for you, sir, to, I don't think we need to see the whole complaint, but I think several of us would like a chance to take a look at those 11 requests that you've made. Again, I leave it to our NAACP staff to make a formal response, but I think it would be helpful for all of us to have a sense for what it is that you think ought to be done. And if you could send that to us, I'd sure like to see it.
I would send it to each of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Zola Vega.